Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm Deputy Director of the UCLA Luskin Center for Innovation. We're a research center that's based in the Luskin School of Public Affairs, but we have researchers, scholars throughout campus, engineering, business, public health schools, you name it. We're very collaborative, and we have partners for just about all the research that we conduct. So it's very applied research. It seeks to inform policy and planning decisions, and big focus is on clean technology and how we can deploy clean technology and kind of what are the opportunities for those innovations. So I'm going to be talking to you today about a study that was commissioned by the Aquamarine Institute, a nonprofit that is based and focused on issues surrounding the ports. This was a study that we did also in collaboration with the ports of LA and Long Beach. So we really appreciate that collaboration, both, of course, with the ports and the Aquamarine Institute. As was mentioned, I actually used to work for the American Lung Association doing air quality policy work. A lot of it was focused on, at the time, it was trying to work on the Clean Air Action Plan. And just in the 10 years since I've been working collaboratively with the ports, I've just been so impressed by the remarkable progress around air quality and seeing how that has been a driver for tech innovation. And I feel that energy management might be the next really big opportunity that's obviously very linked to air quality and environmental issues. So the Luskin Center, we conducted this, really was the first ever publicly released study of kind of the big picture of energy consumption and management at both ports. It was a kind of harder task than one might think to kind of figure out really what energy usage consumption was, because as Stan had mentioned earlier, because the ports are landlord ports, the different terminal operators have their own energy bills, and so there's lots of different meters and different entities that are paying the energy bills. And so we kind of put it all together by modeling what predicted energy use was. So I'm going to tell you some key highlights from that baseline energy use portion of our study, and then I'm going to tell you about the energy management options that we looked at. And this was really just that kind of the first word, certainly not the last, but we looked at it just a few kind of fairly basic areas, and there's, I think, a lot of room for you, the entrepreneurs, to dive a lot further. So it's to get kind of the conversation started before I turn it over to the electrical engineers. I am not an electrical engineer. My co-authors have very strong energy backgrounds, energy economic backgrounds specifically, and so I'm the less technical of the three authors, so if there's very technical questions after my talk, I can try to answer those for you if I cannot answer them. So I'm going to give you some highlights now. Why do a study on energy management? Why did the Aquamarine Institute commission the Luskin Center to do this? Four kind of big opportunity areas. Increased competition through reduction of operating costs and increased resiliency. Job creation through the installation and maintenance of new energy management systems. Third, improved ability to cost-effectively comply with environmental mandates and goals. And fourth, increased national security, supply chain resiliency, and grid independence in the event of an outage. So big picture, what our modeling, and this is using data from, it's actually a couple years old data, so it might be not completely accurate today, but our estimates from when we did this study, which was, we completed this study last year, did the study in 2012 and used data from 2011, was that energy costs were over 20 million for both ports combined. For Port of Long Beach, it was about 20 million, and Port of LA was about 30 million if you added up all the different entities that paid for electricity at those ports. Who were using, where was that energy consumption happening? Just getting a little bit still at the big picture level, but the three kind of big sectors, container terminals was the biggest, at about 50% of the energy consumption. The break bulk was more about 44 approximately, and the harbor department was under 10%. Biggest opportunities in container terminals that we found is lighting. It's a big use of energy. Is outdoor lighting. Other major uses: wharf cranes, reefers, terminal buildings, and many other under that. Bulk terminals are harder to characterize and categorize. There's a lot of kind of difference in how they operate, and therefore what their energy consumption patterns are really vary amongst them. So that I'm not going to go into the examples in the interest of time, but there's just a lot of variation in energy consumption and therefore the cost of energy amongst them. Big takeaway is that energy usage is expected to significantly increase, at least double. And this is to comply with mandates, and there's some other reasons as well, but a big one is the environmental regs. So we modeled if there was 100% electrification of cargo handling equipment and 80% implementation of AMP, so ships plugging in to the grid at dock, that there would be at least a doubling of energy consumption.
And that's by when?
By 2020, I believe. And so this that didn't even account for the cost of energy prices, and those are also expected to increase over time and not go down. So the trajectory is up, kind of for the kind of upward pressure for two big reasons. So we examined options that could facilitate electrification and energy management, and we had 4 criteria when thinking about what could be the kind of evaluative criteria for examining and prioritizing energy management options. First one is competitiveness. How will it impact costs? What economic benefit does it provide for port consumers, jobs, economic impact for the region, and localize as much as possible. Environment, how does it impact harmful emissions? Again, the ports have been really worldwide leaders in this area. And then security and operational, how does it improve port security and operational resiliency? So as I mentioned, we conducted just really a high-level analysis in 3 areas. Energy efficiency, and this is really, we found the biggest opportunity, at least in the short term. Renewable energy generation and local dispatchable generation. We did not examine battery storage, but feel that could be another area as well. Energy efficiency offers benefits across all 4 of those dimensions. Significant cost savings, payback period of less than 5 years for just one of the energy efficiency options that we examined. So in this hypothetical scenario, reduced energy demand by 60% for all high mass terminal lighting with changeover of lighting technology. We said that the payback would be, under that scenario, would be less than 5 years, a savings for the ports of probably over $2 million each, and it would really reduce emissions. So this is kind of a big opportunity area I wanted to highlight. Other efficiency areas that could also yield significant savings, buildings. For example, an increase in energy efficiency by 25% for the Port of Long Beach would yield annual savings of up to $400,000. take cranes at Port of LA, reducing their energy demand by just 5% would yield energy savings of $350,000. Reefers reducing demand for refrigerated containers by 50% would save almost $2 million annually. And we thought that this could be done in conjunction with some other technologies, like using PVs as on a parking canopy. The shade would reduce demand from the reefers as well as generating electricity. So there could be some synergies there. So those were just a few examples that we wanted to highlight. Under renewable energy, going back to that, unlike energy efficiency, we didn't see as much opportunity in the short term for energy efficiency. It's not as likely to be cost effective for either port. Would produce only about 5% of total consumption of a large terminal. And it gets into land constraints issues. The ports, I mean, there's so many competing needs in terms of land that that is an issue. But that's not to say that renewables couldn't, that there aren't opportunities. It's just compared to energy efficiency. Local dispatchable generation offers trade-offs, but those are worth considering. Could save at least $200 million in avoided electricity purchase alone, but would require capacities that would increase cost and complexity, and this is with a 400 megawatt single cycle natural gas combustion turbine, excuse me. So that is an example of that. There's several other dispatchable generation options that we could discuss. I'm going to skip over another example though, and just really highlight the kind of the key takeaways. Energy costs are likely over $500 million for the ports now, and we're expecting those costs to at least double in the future through a double whammy of both increasing demand as technologies electrify, as well as upward pressure on electricity prices over the kind of the medium term. But we can address these challenges, and entrepreneurs have a huge role in this. We can, focus on a lot of the kind of the different technology areas that we think are probably pretty promising. Of course, energy efficiency, on-site renewable energy could maybe be an option, although there are financial and logistical challenges, and on-site dispatchable generation would produce benefits, but require some significant institutional kind of challenges as well. I want to, I guess, just kind of tell you what kind of next steps could be from that perspective. I think energy efficiency, immediate opportunity, renewable energies, opportunity, I think, but to approach carefully. Same with dispatchable. Next steps, I think I mentioned that before. You all have a role in that. And I want to direct your attention to our website. So if you would like to download the full technical report, which has a lot more detailed information, it's on our website. You can download it. And I also have a couple copies today. Thank you.